Yeah, left off in part one, talking about how in the days of Peter and Jude, the myths that had grown up among the Jews that were influenced by Babylonian and Greek traditions. You know, we might think of myths as being something found more among the Greeks and the Romans, but Paul warned Titus, pay no attention to Jewish myths, Titus 1:14. Many of these Jewish myths are fantastic fiction about Old Testament figures such as Seth and Enoch and Abraham and Moses and Solomon and Ezra. For some examples of Jewish myths, you can find them in the Apocrypha and in other pseudepigrapha books, and that means false writings anyway. And Jewish myths about angels and demons are found in different papyrus and pottery that's dug up by archaeologists today. It talks about the Jewish myths. If you look at the book of Enoch, it talks about the angels and sin. The book of Enoch gives an imaginative expansion on the sons of God and the daughters of men that's found in Genesis 6. If you read in Enoch book 6, verses 1 through 6, it says, "And it came to pass, when the children of man had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Shemhazzar, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear you will not agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual implications, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then they all swore together and bound themselves by mutual implications upon him. And there were 200 who descended on the earth in the days of Jared." The story continues with the fallen angels fathering a race of giants. But the angels are accused by the archangel Michael and bound in Tartarus to await judgment for 70 generations. The angels asked Enoch to mediate with God on their behalf, but Enoch his requests are refused. They believe that the giants also cause havoc on earth. Michael appears to God again, and they're drowned in the flood of Noah. In the book of Giants, the children of the angels, led by Ohiah and Mawaiah, also asked Enoch to mediate for them. God decrees that the spirit of the giants shall survive to torment mankind, and they become a new class of beings, the demons, and they're one of the most powerful, of whom was the same in the book of Tobit. The giant human mothers also survived to become the sirens. Now this is all myth. We all know that Enoch didn't write the book of Enoch. It came out of that Babylonian captivity. It's Jewish myths. Jesus warned us about it. Paul warned us about it. In the first century, the book of Enoch was a bestseller among the Jews. And Peter and Jude addresses the Jews that were following Christ. And they were, just like many other educated Jews, did not accept it as fact. It was rejected by many of the Pharisees and other of the educated Jews of that time. They had enough sense to know better. But it seems like today, even though Jesus himself in Mark 12:25 rejects it, Christians today teach it as fact. Even though Paul warns in Titus 1:14, some of the converts from Judaism to Christianity brought with them these Jewish myths. And they brought the book of Enoch and the legends of the fallen angels with them. And there's many early church documents that indicate that these myths were later taken up by the Gnostics. But I think there's a big problem with Christians following these myths today. So I guess I better end it here. Part 2, I'll come back with a part 3. Peace, love, justice, understanding, and music.